research before we kind of get started here today. How many of you have a personal Facebook page? Raise your hand. All right. How many of you have a Facebook page for your business? Fan page for your business? About 30 or 40%. How many of you tweet? How many of you are on LinkedIn? Very good. Bill, when I was asked to come here, Tom Cosby said, I want you to take a few minutes to tell everybody about all the different social media things that's available to you and how to use them. You have 10 minutes. So obviously that is not going to happen here today. At best, we're just going to be able to touch a little bit about what we're doing. The first question you're probably asking yourself, why would a CEO of a company get involved in social media? And I could tell you it was great vision, but the actual fact is it was just dumb luck. About 2 years ago, I had an opportunity, I'm a member of the National Speakers Association, and I had an opportunity to go to a convention in New York, and I sat in accidentally on a session on LinkedIn and social media, not having any idea what it was. In fact, my first question was, what is Facebook? And then what is MySpace? And what's the difference between the two? I had no idea what the speaker was talking about. But then it dawned on me, as a small business owner, I spent about 90% of my time trying to sell. And if what this guy was explaining was true, I felt like that I could probably avoid cold calls in the future because I don't like to do cold calling. I'm not very good at it. And I thought that this might be a better way to build relationships with people. How many of you here want to make more sales? Raise your hand. How many of you here believe that networking is probably about your best way to get that done? Obviously, you wouldn't be here this morning. But what social media is networking on steroids. Because if you do it right, and there is an art to it, then you have an opportunity to have some great successes that couldn't have possibly been possible before this. The thing that's been eye-opening for me in all of this is that I suspected that social media might be something that was important, but nothing could actually prepare me for the growth of social media. If I'd have asked this question last year, how many of you had a Facebook page, I virtually would have gotten very few hands. Facebook last year was at about 100 million members. Now they're at about 520 million members and growing at about 5 million a week. And about 50% of the people who are on Facebook go to Facebook every day. So it is a heavily used, and the other thing I used to hear is that's only for kids. The fastest growing demographic is people 55 and older. If Facebook were a country, it would be the third largest country in the world after China and India. Give you a sense of how it's grown. Twitter is growing astronomically also. But with the few seconds that I have here, I want to talk mostly about LinkedIn. Because when I came back to Birmingham after that convention, the thing that I had learned the most about was LinkedIn. And I said, I wonder if I can actually use this to get sales. And so about November, about a year and a half ago, however long that was, I said, I've got a potential client, a very large company in Montgomery. I have called this guy. I know he was the decision maker. He was the CFO. I can't tell you how many times I called this guy. He would not return his telephone call. I had left messages on his voicemail. I had talked to his administrative assistant. I talked to other people. Anybody that would listen to me to get the guy to call me back, and he wouldn't do it. So I said, I wonder if I can go into LinkedIn and make something happen. So I went in and found a first-line connection for myself, who was also a first-line connection to this fellow. And I sent an email to my friend and said, could you please get in touch with Bob and tell him that I'm not a serial killer, that it's okay to call me back. And so I got an email back from Joe, and he said that Bob is expecting your call.